I know it's been a minute, but welcome back to my channel. I miss you all so much. I got a notification from YouTube a couple of weeks ago saying, hey, if you don't post a video, we're going to demonetize your entire account. And I was like, now why would you do that? Anyways, I'm back. I'm coming at you guys with more modeling tips. A lot has changed since the last time I've talked with you guys. I've moved to New York. I have my own place. I started working in corporate again. I then quit my corporate job yet again. It was a startup. Terrible experience. Now I'm back to modeling full time and I'm just really, you know, living and breathing and just trying to make the most of every day, manifesting. There's so many things I want to accomplish this year. So I did miss you guys a lot, and I miss talking to the camera. I miss giving advice. I know that you guys love the whole modeling journey that I've been on, but I'm sure this channel will evolve over time. I do have a lot of things coming down the pipeline, but for now, I'm here to give you modeling tips. So let's get to it. So today I wanted to be very honest with you guys and share with you what most people in the industry, models, industry professionals, don't really tell you about modeling. And that's basically the fact that it's fake. Everything you see is an enigma. It's not real. It's over glamorized. The modeling industry is extremely tough, extremely challenging, and I feel like a lot of people omit the other side of things outside of, you know, the discrimination, the challenge of being a person of color, being short, being old, getting an agency, all of that stuff. But people don't really tell you the other side, the other challenges. There's this selling of a dream that no one is actually living. Not even like some of the top models in this world who I have met personally and have spoken to personally. So I wanted to sort of set the playing field to like a more realistic tone, and I hope that whoever finds this video, I hope it resonates with you, because I walked into this industry thinking that once I got a big job, I'd be wealthy, I'd never have to worry about money again, this and that, and boy oh boy, I have so much to break in. I'm just gonna start from the beginning. This is what you would not think about the modeling industry that is actually true. Firstly, many of the models that you see who claim that they are a model, they're a working model, they're signed with an agency, a lot of those models aren't actually working. Unfortunately, with the modeling industry, there's so many models and only so many agents and agencies, and then also only so many clients. So that's why the modeling industry is so broad. You can be a parts model, you can be an editorial model, a commercial model, which is what I am. There's so many different types of models you can be, but even with that, there's just so many models to choose from. So if you don't have a good agent or you're not repped by a good agency, you could be on their board in a contract that has you in a bind for 3 to 5 years, depending on how your contract is set up. You can negotiate it, of course, and you may not ever get a single job. And yet you're here telling everybody, you're a model, you're signed with this agency, you're a model, but yet how are you paying your bills, honey? You're not. Most models, and I will say this even from my perspective as well, I just quit another corporate job. I was working for a startup here in New York City. It was very intense, very much a startup culture, but I was doing that full time while also modeling full time. And the only way I could even balance it this time around, because I don't think I actually have a video on my first my first job. When I started modeling, I was working for an aerospace agency. It was very intense. I loved the job so much, but it was also in the same time I was transitioning and trying to figure out if modeling was something I wanted to do. But anyways, the only reason I could even do the startup job was because they had unlimited PTO, a great health plan, and so like if there was any time and I was working remotely. Can't forget that detail. So if there was any time there was a last minute casting, all castings are last minute. If there was ever a casting or a job that I booked or needed to go to, I could go because I was remote and also had unlimited PTO in case I needed to take a day off. Other models who may not be in the corporate structure are usually bartenders. They could be bottle girls. They could be maybe working in an office setting, maybe part-time, coffee shop part-time, have several part-time jobs to sort of, you know, make ends meet, or they could be more focused in the nighttime industry simply because it doesn't conflict with day jobs. All modeling jobs are during the day, and most of them are always during the weekday. So it's really challenging to sort of balance both, especially if you are not working as a model. Like, you need to find a way to make money, and I will tell you firsthand, a lot of models out here are actually struggling to make ends meet because they're either not working enough, or they're not getting paid enough from the jobs that they are booked, or what have you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, most models aren't making bank the way you think they would. Of course, we see the top models of the world today. They are buying their own mansions, they have new cars, you know, they're carrying YSL bags and Chanel bags. That's not the reality for most generally working models. I'm not gonna say it's all models, of course, but for most models, generally speaking, they do not have that luxury. You ever wonder why, when you are following a model on Instagram, why they don't ever show you where they live? Unless they're living with their parents, of course. It's because usually they're in a cramped, let's say 3-bedroom apartment, and living in a closet, a forced closet, with no window, and, you know, just trying to figure out a way to make their $500 payment for their closet of a room here in New York City, or even in LA. Most models, if you'll notice it now that I'm saying it, they don't really show you the behind the scenes of the modeling job. They'll show you when they're at the photo shoot. Oh my God, guess who's on the shoot today? I'm shooting this, I'm wearing that. They don't ever show you where they live. They barely show you a selfie in the bathroom mirror. They don't do any of that. It's because usually they are confined to their financial means. Thank God, I was able to find a job here once I moved to New York City, a corporate job, and save up to buy myself my own apartment. I have no roommates. I have this spacious 1-bedroom apartment, and I love it to death. But before I secured that job, let me just be very real with you guys. I fucked up my credit because I blew through my savings because of the pandemic. I wasn't working at all. I actually fired the previous agency that I was with because they were not working with me, and I had a bit of a discussion, or a disagreement rather, with my previous agent. I was getting paid late, up to sometimes 6 months at a time. One job I still haven't gotten paid for it to this day, and I did that job in 2020, and we're now in 2022. These are the realities that a lot of models go through. We're not getting paid on time, or we're not getting paid enough, and that's a reflection of our lifestyle. Speaking of lifestyle, the models that you do see who have bags, or cars, or the rich boyfriend, where are they getting that money? It's usually for 2 reasons. It's either because, yes, they're working a lot, they're booking, and trust me, the commercial modeling industry is the best one you want to be in because we work, honey, we work, and the jobs that we work, they pay really, really well. There was a job, I'm not going to say the client, just to be discreet, I worked half a day and I made $4,000. That's the type of money you can make doing commercial. Now, for editorial models, generally speaking, I'm not really talking about high fashion. I'm not too knowledgeable of what they go through. I did do an editorial photo shoot for a really well-known magazine, and the rate for that shoot, to shoot the entire day, was $200. And that is before my agents take their fee. So I was actually leaving with less money than I arrived, simply because I was still traveling from Maryland to New York, so I had to buy a mega bus ticket, which was about $80 total, and then you take the agent fee, and then I also had to get my nails done for it, which they were supposed to comp me for. Long story short, I never even saw that $200, and then you have to take into website fees that you have to pay to your agency. You don't really make money up until a couple of jobs in, where you're finally coming up off of the expenses that you actually owe to your agents or your agency. That is the reality. But furthermore, when you are watching these models, let's say the well-known ones, not the top ones, but even just the well-known ones, or yeah, the top ones, anyone. If you see any model actually, of course, when you make bank and you're working consistently and you're doing jobs like the one I just mentioned where you're, securing the bag, of course you can have the ability to indulge and buy a bag, buy a purse, go to this luxury restaurant, things like that. However, I want to emphasize something. A lot of times these girls, even guys, but I'll just speak from a woman's perspective. A lot of times these girls are getting those things from either their family due to nepotism or coming from wealth, or parents who are just very giving, or from a man, which I will get to in just a second. So when it comes to family, a lot of girls, a lot of women in this industry have the fortune of jumping into the modeling industry, especially if they're in their later years, because they have a wealthy family or a family who is fortunate and wealthy enough to support that child, their child. I am a child. For me, when I quit my job, my aerospace job, and made the big decision to save up, I saved up about $7,000 before I quit my aerospace job. And I also didn't renew the lease on my apartment. And what I did was actually I moved back in with my parents. And then the pandemic hit about 6 months after that, and I just stayed with my parents for about 2 years. It was supposed to be a year tops, ended up being 2 years. And it wasn't hard. My parents are great. They were very welcoming and supportive, but that was not my expectation for me, because I had a plan listen, I'm about to kill this Sports Illustrated thing, I'm about to move to New York, blah, blah, blah. No, honey, I just moved to New York. It's 2022. I quit my job in 2019. It's tough out here, man. Anyways, I can call myself one of the people who were afforded that luxury because I have a family who could help to support me. But that is just at a basic level. There's other people who, I'll just use her as an example, Kendall Jenner. She didn't go to college. She didn't have to go to college. She worked her way up, the modeling ranks, but she also had a family with a lot of connections with Kris Jenner. She also had a family with a lot of wealth with her siblings. She did not need or want or struggle for anything outside of the, of course, psychological and grueling effects that come with the industry, but there was no financial burden. The modeling industry, especially when you're a model who's just starting or sort of working your way up and trying to grind, there is a lot of financial burden that comes with that. And I feel like people fake that. A lot of times the models that you see with the YSL bags and all that stuff, they're in debt. They're racking up their credit card bills, they're not paying their credit card bills, or their parents are buying it for them. And I'm just gonna throw it out there. So just sort of think about that the next time that you see stuff like that, because I feel again, even with social media, people are selling this lifestyle that is not true, and I just hate it so much, and I just want to set a more realistic expectation for you guys. Now getting back to this second point, the boyfriend. Whether it be a famous boyfriend, a rich boyfriend, an old boyfriend, there is this sort of unspoken relationship between the modeling industry and sports. You notice that a lot of models end up dating athletes. You notice that a lot of models end up dating these wealthy CEOs and executives, and it's all because they sort of commingle in this networking bubble. But then also, a lot of times agencies will actually have an effect on this too. Modeling agencies often, as we've heard with cases like the Harvey Weinstein case, will book models for these trips, these lavish trips to just have fun with these guys who own this brand. And sometimes that can go good or bad, but it is very much realistic that there is this sort of secret hush hush about how this model dates this person, how do they meet. And it's almost like a business relationship. The guy, the sports player, may not have been well known, and now he's known because he's with this popular model, and vice versa. Maybe the guy is wealthy, the model's much younger, he's sort of fronting the bill for a lot of her lifestyle. it's a tango, and I've seen it firsthand. I see it all around me to this day with a lot of my model girlfriends, and I think that people sort of overlook that modeling isn't as much of this glamorized life that you guys think. And then finally, I want to emphasize that the modeling industry is really tough, not only just physically because you got to stay fit and all that stuff, but also mentally grueling. I've left castings that I've literally driven 4 hours for to last 15 minutes to just immediately be looked up and down and told no. It's really tough. They don't have to necessarily say you're ugly. It's just the effort that you put in, the mental preparation that you want to present your best self to this stranger, so that in the hopes that they can book you for this job and to be immediately turned away. It is really, really grueling. Getting rejected a lot takes a lot of mental, it takes a strong mental toll on your mental. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I just think I'm ugly, or like, what's wrong with me? What do I need to fix to like be everything that everyone wants for everyone to book me? Of course that's not realistic, but like, it really does make you second guess yourself. Like I see, and sometimes I think, is it a race thing? Is it a hair thing? Should I have worn my wig to this casting? Why is it that this model who looks like me got it, but I didn't? I feel like I'm, more of a stronger suit for this role. You just doubt yourself a lot, and you think really hard about like your value and your worth, not only from a physical perspective, but also just from like a perspective within your agency. Like, why are all these other models working more than me, and stuff like that. It's really tough. Oh, and there's another thing I did want to emphasize, was the fact that, shut the fuck up please, shut the fuck up. I have the craziest neighbors ever. Not all agencies are good. The big name ones, a lot of them have a bad rep underneath the surface. And there are pages like Shit Model Management that can dive deeper into it for you, but I'll tell you that not every agency, especially the big ones, are the best. Some of them are literally above water only because of their name. A lot of them are struggling. A lot of them will steal money from the models because they need it to keep themselves afloat. I have a lot of girlfriends who are models who've had to sue their agency to get their money that they're owed. It can get really ugly really fast. So again, I think in a previous video I said to make sure you negotiate your contract appropriately, have a business, industry lawyer look it over if you can afford that. But it can get really grueling and really nasty, especially if you're in a situation where you haven't been working, you want to get out of your contract and your agency will not let you, or they don't want to pay you, or things like that. It can be really, 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 really tricky. And luckily I haven't gone through too much of the craziness, just a little bit, just a sprinkle, but I have girlfriends who've told me horror stories that you would never imagine in your mind. And I'm not speaking for all. Some models have a great experience. They never have any issues with getting paid by their agency. They never have any issues with agents or directors. They never have any issues with being objectified or made uncomfortable on set. They've never had any issues with hair or makeup stylists not knowing how to do their face or their hair on set. They've never had any issues with not getting paid on time or not getting enough money. There is a small percentage of women models, both men and women, who've gone through that and have had nothing but a beautiful journey. I'm not speaking about those people. I'm speaking about the majority who has had at least one of those experiences happen to them. As a model of color, you are going to have an experience where the makeup artist is not gonna have your foundation shade. You need to come to set with your own foundation, just in case, because it's bound to happen at one point here and there. I've worked with big brands now in 2022. I've worked for Hervé Leger, Juicy Couture. Like, I'm doing so much more since the last time I talked to you guys, and I can tell you time and time again, not with all of them, by no means not with all of them. Thank God, because of the conversations we're having about, being prepared for the model. But not all brands put the need for a specific skill set at the forefront when they are booking stylists and makeup artists for shoots. And so on occasion there will be a situation where you will have to do your own hair, you will have to touch up your makeup in the bathroom. Leo Mae Anderson actually just shared a post maybe a couple months ago about how she was on set and the makeup artist literally made her look like a ghost. These are still real things, and so I just want to be a voice, one of the voices in this industry, just bringing a more realistic tone to the industry. It's so nice when you can, you know, go on a red carpet or go to an opening night for an event, or, you know, get your hair done by or makeup done by like incredible talent, or be photographed by awesome people. That's all amazing, yes. To see your name in lights or to see your face on a billboard, that is all amazing, yes. Those are the peaks of this industry. But baby, no one talks about the valleys, and the valleys is the majority of the time what we go through. Models are hustling, they're trying to make ends meet, they're trying to feed themselves, they're trying to feed their children, their babies. A lot of these models, they don't even tell you they have children because this industry is so judgmental at times. So there's just a lot of things that go without saying, and I want to be the person to say it. So when you join this industry, when you're applying to the agencies or applying on your own as an individual model on your own without any representation, just take into account that there's just so much that goes into this, which is why I love platforms like TikTok, who's sharing secrets about all different industries, whether it be startup, how to get into tech, how to become a model, like all of it, it's covered. I love that we can be communal and like share, and I just want to do that with you guys. I don't want to set you up for failure, and I don't want to set you up with the expectation that you're gonna achieve this thing when it really is more like this thing, you know what I'm saying? So with that, take everything I say with a grain of salt. It doesn't apply to everything, but it does exist. I've never been one to lie, have no need to do it, but I just want to be helpful because this is information I wish someone told me before I joined, and maybe I could have done a few things differently. And so I really hope that this helped you guys have a better understanding of what this industry just looks like. There's a lot more videos coming. Again, if you have any topics you would like me to cover, I'm more than happy to share, but like sometimes I just run out of ideas. I honestly feel like the beginning of this series sort of covered everything, and now I'm just sort of like, do I start repeating myself, or do I like stick on a topic and like dive deeper? So I think that's what I'm gonna do, but you're definitely gonna be seeing more of me. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed, and stay tuned for the next video. Please subscribe too. Thank you, bye.